Have you ever wondered what our world will look like when the hum of gasoline engines is replaced by the silent glide of electric cars? Or when towering smokestacks are replaced by sleek spinning wind turbines? This isn't science fiction. It's the energy transition, and it's happening right now. But what does it really mean for our future? Welcome to the Clean Energy Journey YouTube channel, where science meets sustainability. We share how green energy will save our planet in the future. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most important transformations of our time, the energy transition. Put simply, it's the global shift away from fossil fuels, like coal, oil, and natural gas, toward renewable and sustainable energy sources such as solar, wind, hydro, and hydrogen. But this isn't just about swapping one power source for another. It's a profound social and economic transformation that will redefine how we live, work, and interact with our planet. So, why does this matter so much right now? The urgency is driven by climate change. The accelerating rate of global warming, fueled by greenhouse gas emissions from burning fossil fuels, demands immediate action. These traditional energy sources are not only finite, but their extraction and use also create pollution that harms our ecosystems and our health. The good news is that we're at a turning point. Thanks to incredible innovation in clean technology, renewable energy is becoming more accessible and affordable than ever before, making this massive transition both a necessity and a real possibility. To truly understand where we're headed, we need to look back at where we've been. The history of energy is a story of constant evolution as societies adapt to meet new challenges and seize new opportunities. For centuries, wood was humanity's primary fuel source. Then came the Industrial Revolution, a period of unprecedented growth powered almost entirely by coal. This black rock fueled the factories, powered the trains, and generated the first sparks of electricity that would light up our world. The 20th century saw another monumental shift, as oil and natural gas rose to dominance. These fuels powered the automobile, enabled air travel, and generated electricity on a massive scale. They supported rapid industrial growth and a surge in global population. But this progress came at a steep price: massive carbon emissions that have been accumulating in our atmosphere for over a century. Now, we stand on the cusp of the next great energy era. The world is pivoting toward a diverse mix of renewables, next-generation, nuclear power, and green hydrogen. Each chapter of our energy history teaches us a valuable lesson. We are a species that adapts, and our energy systems always evolve. So, what's pushing this monumental shift forward? There are three main drivers accelerating the energy transition. First and foremost are climate change and emissions targets. International agreements like the Paris Agreement, along with national commitments to achieve carbon neutrality, have created a powerful global mandate. Governments and corporations are now legally and morally bound to reduce their carbon footprints, making the move to clean energy a top priority. Second, technological advances are making renewables a smart economic choice. A decade ago, solar panels and wind turbines were seen as expensive niche alternatives. Today, thanks to relentless innovation and economies of scale, they are becoming cheaper and more efficient than their fossil fuel counterparts. Innovations in offshore wind farms, advanced battery storage, and smart grid technology are making clean energy not just viable, but competitive. Finally, government policies and global cooperation are creating the necessary momentum. Governments around the world are implementing tax incentives, offering subsidies for green energy projects, and investing in renewable infrastructure. This supportive policy landscape, combined with international agreements to share technology and best practices, is encouraging both industries and consumers to embrace clean energy solutions, turning ambitious goals into tangible action. This transition is being built on several key pillars, each essential for creating a stable and sustainable energy system. The most visible pillar is renewable electricity. solar panels capturing the sun's rays, wind turbines spinning in the breeze, hydroelectric dams harnessing the power of rivers, and geothermal plants tapping into the Earth's heat are becoming the backbone of our power supply. Together, they provide clean, inexhaustible electricity that drastically reduces our dependence on polluting fossil fuels. However, many renewables have a challenge: intermittency. The sun doesn't always shine, and the wind doesn't always blow. This is where the second pillar, energy storage, becomes critical. To ensure a reliable power supply 24/7, we need ways to store excess energy generated during peak times for use later. Solutions like large-scale lithium-ion batteries, hydrogen fuel cells that convert electricity into storable gas, and pumped hydro storage are crucial for balancing the grid and guaranteeing its stability. The third pillar is the electrification of transport. The transportation sector is one of the largest consumers of oil and a major source of urban air pollution. By replacing internal combustion engines with electric vehicles, EVs, and building out the necessary charging infrastructure, we can significantly reduce our dependence on oil and clean up the air in our cities. This shift extends beyond personal cars to include electric buses, trucks, and even ships. Finally, all these components must be managed intelligently. This is where smart grids and AI management come in. These digital technologies act as the nervous system of the new energy landscape. They allow for the efficient distribution of power, use artificial intelligence to forecast energy demand and supply, and seamlessly integrate fluctuating renewable sources into national grids. This ensures that electricity gets where it needs to go when it's needed most, with minimal waste. The energy transition isn't just a technological project. It's a global force with profound economic and social impacts. One of the most positive outcomes is massive job creation. The green energy sector is already a major employer, creating millions of new jobs worldwide. These roles span a wide range of fields, from manufacturing and installing solar panels and wind turbines to research and development in battery technology and software engineering for smart grids. However, this shift also presents significant risks, particularly for economies that have long been dependent on fossil fuel exports. Countries whose wealth is built on oil and gas revenues may face serious economic challenges as global demand for these commodities declines. A just transition requires careful planning to help these nations diversify their economies and support workers in legacy industries as they adapt to new roles. This economic realignment will also reshape energy geopolitics. For decades, global power dynamics have been heavily influenced by a few energy exporting nations. As renewable technologies become more widespread and energy production becomes more decentralized, this influence is likely to wane. Nations that lead in clean energy innovation and manufacturing will gain new strategic advantages, creating a more distributed and potentially more stable geopolitical landscape. Of course, the path to a clean energy future is not without its challenges. The intermittency of solar and wind power remains a significant hurdle. While energy storage technology is improving rapidly, deploying it at the scale needed to back up entire national grids is still expensive and logistically complex. We need continued innovation to bring down costs and increase the capacity of storage solutions. Another major challenge is the sheer scale of the required infrastructure overhaul. Building new renewable energy plants, modernizing national power grids to be smarter, and constructing a comprehensive network of EV charging stations will require massive, sustained investment from both the public and private sectors. This is a multi-trillion-dollar undertaking that will take decades to complete. Finally, we must strike a delicate balance between speed and stability. Moving too slowly on the transition risks catastrophic climate impacts and leaves us vulnerable to volatile fossil fuel markets. However, moving too quickly without adequate planning could threaten energy security, leading to blackouts and economic disruption. The ultimate challenge is to find the right pace, one that is ambitious enough to meet our climate goals while ensuring a reliable and affordable energy supply for everyone. Looking ahead, the future of energy is taking shape right now, with clear projections guiding the way. By 2030, many experts predict that renewables will be the dominant source of electricity production in many developed countries. Looking further to 2050, dozens of governments have set ambitious targets to achieve net zero emissions, a state where any remaining greenhouse gas emissions are balanced by their removal from the atmosphere. This long-term vision requires adaptation at every level of society. For households, this might mean investing in rooftop solar panels and home battery systems to become more energy independent. For businesses, it involves adopting sustainable supply chains, optimizing energy efficiency, and switching to renewable power sources. For governments, the task is to modernize national grids, implement effective emissions regulations, and foster an environment that encourages green innovation. The role of continued innovation cannot be overstated. Breakthroughs that seem like science fiction today could dramatically accelerate the transition tomorrow. Imagine the impact of commercially viable fusion energy, which promises virtually limitless clean power. Consider next-generation batteries that can store energy for weeks instead of hours. Picture AI-driven energy management systems that can optimize power flow across entire continents in real time. These are the game changers that will define the next phase of our energy journey. The energy transition is far more than just switching fuels. It represents a fundamental rethinking of how we power our societies, touching every aspect of our lives from technology and economics to politics and culture. The path forward is complex and filled with challenges, but the direction is clear and an incredible opportunity. We are moving toward a future that is cleaner, more sustainable, and more innovative than ever before. As the world continues on this journey, it's vital that we all remain informed, engaged, and proactive. Whether as consumers choosing renewable energy, voters supporting climate-forward policies, or innovators developing the next big breakthrough, each of us has a role to play in building a better energy future. Thank you for joining us on the clean energy journey. If you found this video insightful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the world of sustainable energy. Let's continue to learn and build a greener planet together.